All right, guys, let's hop right into it. Now, when you're really going through some shit, when you're really down on yourself, when you really can't find the answers, it seems like obstacles are being thrown directly at you to give you every reason to call it quits. And you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about when I say call it quits. And I don't know if this is a special thing about me, but something that I inherited was resilience, and that may not necessarily be a word I'm looking for, but I'm gonna roll with it, even though because it's a part of it. Resilience through disgust, acceptance through disgust, even more so. And so, with this recent struggle, this recent bout with depersonalization, it has come with a lot of obstacles that weren't so hard before, weren't as hard, but also I found myself having to deal with it. But before this, I these obstacles they just they weren't there, or they I don't know. It felt like there was nothing dire. So let me tell you what I mean. I am dealing with one of the most unique situations that you can come across in the medical field. So I have health insurance, and so I go to try to get some therapy. Found a counselor to talk to as a part of the outpatient program or setup, whatever it is, because I was in a psych ward. And what's happening is um, I get a call back from the therapy place. They say, "Do you have another insurance?" And I'm like, "No, why?" It says because when we try to get authorization, um, you're being blocked by some other company. So that led me to calling this number. They told me to call this number. That told me to call that number, that number, that number. I was getting so many numbers that the numbers I was being referred to were telling me to call numbers that I'd already called. Everybody is saying, "Wow, I never seen anything like this before." Nobody knows what to do. Nobody knows what to do. I even called a company that's blocking me. They have no record of me. So this is an insurance that I did have before when I was a child under my grandmother's name, and I'm calling all these people, no no history of me. And when I was making these calls, you gotta understand this is I'm not coming to you as a guy who's just you know going through normal circumstances and having to go through the struggle of waiting on the phone and having to tell everybody the same information. Which, yeah, I mean, because that part right there is definitely a struggle. But when you are trying to focus on staying calm as you're dealing with something like depersonalization, it is a struggle. It really is. And it's like you want to limit the amount of times you get disappointed. You want to limit the number of times you get upset because it can really trigger you and send you in the wrong direction. That's the tough aspect. The hardest part, one of the hardest parts about dealing with this is understanding that life has to go on. You got to go on with life pretty much. And that as you try to live life as you normally would or as usual, other people around you see you as that. Other people around you, they just see you. Like, so if I didn't even mention the depersonalization, I'm just talking to you, you would think, oh, I mean, hey, nothing's up. You know what I'm saying? It ain't like you can see a big gash across my head or my eye hanging out or anything like that. you got to take my word for it. And that's because I am choosing to rise above it. I'm doing the work. So if you look at my last video where I talk about the things that I'm doing the work. I'm meditating, I'm taking the supplements, I'm exercising, I'm eating well. All right? And taking the vitamins and all of that. And staying active, being productive, playing the video game to help with focus, all of those things. I'm doing all of that. So I don't want to tell too many people. I'm doing this video for, you know, to whom it may concern, to the people who it would help. But I don't really in my day-to-day life want to be like, hey, this is what I'm dealing with. So I got to carry things kind of as usual, which is I've been told that that's a great method because it will lead you to getting back to who you were or your new norm where, you don't have to deal with this DP anymore. And it seems like the disappointments stack up. It seemed like you didn't really notice them as much, but now they're here, and you have to, while balancing, trying not to freak yourself out by dealing with this condition, you also have to maneuver through life with the problems being placed right there in front of you, which because you can't allow it to build because that would be working against you. Now you're forced to deal with them, which this is kind of a good thing, by the way. I didn't make this video to be mopey. This is a good thing. And so the good thing about this is that when it's all said and done and you don't have to deal with this condition anymore, you get better at dealing with problems. The fact of the matter is, you kind of have to. You can't avoid them, or they grow, or matters just get worse. All right, you become, you will become, in a sense, a coward. I hate to say that because I know what you're going through, but if you don't face it head on, your matters will get worse for you. If you don't go outside, you will form agoraphobia, or some variation of that. You know what I'm saying? So, how do I go about it? Expectations. First of all, I don't have any expectations as far as the outcome or anything like that, to spare myself from that. And also, I do have expectations when it comes to problems being thrown at me. And the goal, I don't know if I can just say this and it clicks for you. Maybe a matter of you reverse engineering. The goal is to stay calm. It's not just a goal, but it's a tool. It's a method. It's a prerequisite. You gotta find a way to stay calm. And it's not the easiest thing, and it's never been the easiest thing for me before I was dealing with this. I have a history of being reactive. Now I gotta be proactive. Now I gotta be responsive. I gotta respond to the circumstances. And well, first of all, it does help. It will make you stronger. And also, some of the things that I do to help me get calm, of course, if you look at my last video, all of the supplements that I take, the meditations, focusing on playing chess, and also living in the moment, living in the now, and being massively productive. It really does help me. Now, and I still have a ways to go as far as my attitude towards when it comes to disappointment. I need to expect that can somewhat be the outcome. That way I can separate myself from and not take everything to heart. All right. I have enough to deal with. So it's just a matter of getting some things off your plate that you don't have to deal with. You know what I'm saying? So that means you got to learn how to mind your own business. You can't get caught up in everybody's business. All right. Basically, if you don't eat olives, don't put olives on your plate. You know what I'm saying? That's where we are right now. We gotta free ourselves up. All right. We gotta keep a clean room. You know what I'm saying? In fact, dealing with DP has made it very easy for me to I mean, I know I said be a lot more productive, but I never been a guy to be tidy. All right, my room would definitely represent my mind, be all over the place. But cleaning up definitely does help. Okay, so cleaning up, having a nice clean room. Got to do some cleaning right now, but having a nice clean room, it definitely does help. But always, I mean, you gotta expect, whether if it happens or not, you gotta expect for shit to be thrown at your front door, pretty much. Um, and once again, because I can't say this enough, please, you gotta find acceptance in these circumstances. Me, I told myself that I pretty much can't afford to give up. All right, I grew up without a father. I can't have my daughter growing up without a father. All right. Now, if you don't have children, that's no reason to give up. Okay. You have to do the work. You have to constantly check in with yourself. You have to constantly um, say affirming things, positive affirming things, positive affirmations. It's a part of it. It's not the whole thing. You got to find people to talk to. You can't avoid things because you're dealing with a certain circumstances. It's temporary. I can't tell you how long it's gonna last, but it's temporary. And when you get past it, you be glad that you did stay active and you did productive things. And that's something that you always got to hold in the back of your mind. All right. You can be in a much better place. I'm in a better place right now. Not where I want to be, but I'm in a better place. I'm in a good enough place to tell you what I'm telling you. And so, with that being said, I'll talk to you all later. I missed something, and so I'll be back to probably speak on that again. But again, this is not a video to let you off the hook. This is not a video that's going to say to reaffirm how bad this is, because we don't really have time for that. I'm just, of course it's bad. All right. So, but best wishes.